we basically created a new type of active holiday. Our original idea was to give teams that have missed one of our races a chance to have the same experience outside of the race. We actually removed the hardship, the suffering, the discomfort, and the sleepless nights from an adventure race. And all that's left is excitement, discovery, and joy. So how does it actually work?
Hello everybody, my name is Igor, last name Dorotić. I've been creating adventures since 2008. I started as an avid adventure racer, but soon started creating adventures for others. I'm still active as a racer, but my main focus in the last couple of years is being a race director for a couple of races. Adventure Race Croatia being the main one. I'm race director of Teresa Machine Trail. It's a 2-day trail race. I'm also a referee in ARWS, Adventure Racing World Series. And I would say that my expertise is in discovering hidden gems and introducing them to people throughout either races, like trail running or mountain bike or adventure races, or through our tours. We will cover what is adventure racing, transforming adventure race to adventure tour, who is it actually for. We'll go through our regular tours and then switch to custom tours. And in the end, we'll explain actually what Adventure Race Croatia or ARC is. You will hear me talk a lot about ARC. So ARC stands for Adventure Race Croatia. Adventure racing is a multi-sport team race that involves navigation over an unmarked course. So races can last anywhere from 2 hours up to 10 days. Usually there are 4 persons in a team, with at least 1 person being of the opposite sex. Team have to navigate their way using only map and compass, collecting checkpoints along the way from start to the end. They only rest when they can, sleep where they can, because the clock in the race never stops. The winner is the team who collects all the checkpoints in the fastest time. It takes a lot of time and effort to create an adventure race course, and once the race is over, it cannot be used again. So every edition has to be on a new terrain. Our original idea was to give teams that have missed one of our races a chance to have the same experience outside of the race. So with all the disciplines and the same course and all the suffering and discomfort and sleepless nights that come with it. But then we figured that this is a perfect opportunity for regular sporty adventurous people to try out the similar experience. So we basically created a new type of active holiday. We call it Adventure Tour. So we actually removed the hardship, the suffering, the discomfort, and the sleepless nights from an adventure race. And all that's left is excitement, discovery, and joy. We created tours that are fully supported and customized to the group's ambitions. You can practically pick and choose parts of ARC to create your own perfect holiday. For example, you can leave it all to us. Say we have 4 days, we like mountain biking and hiking. We're not too keen with kayaking. Create something for us. And that's what we'll do. Who is it for? Adventure tours are best suited for fit, active people. There are plenty of adventure companies and guides in Croatia and all around the world who are offering easy entry-level multi-sport holidays. We wanted to create and offer adventure for people like ourselves who are adventurous, active, and willing to push themselves. It is not necessarily for adventure racers, but for people with adventurous mindset who would like to experience a holiday in an adventure racing style, so to speak. So principal activities remain the same as an adventure race, but with the distances modified to suit your group's fitness level and preferences. Usual duration of activity in adventure tour is between 4 and 8 hours per day, but it could all be adjustable on the fly and according to your group's preferences. Activities are trekking. It is the basic activity. Every adventure race has hiking in it or trekking. So terrain can vary from sandy beaches to snowy mountains and everything in between. The duration of hikes on our tours is maybe up to 5 hours. Next one is orienteering. In adventure racing, orienteering is a really important discipline because the whole course is supposed to be covered by following the map and using only compass. So old school style. So no GPS devices, no phones are allowed during the race. In our adventure tours, orienteering can stay the same way. So you can use map and compass if you're into orienteering, but it can also be supported with a GPS device or a phone, or what is most common, you can have an experienced guide with you all the way. Next is mountain biking. That's also an indispensable discipline of every adventure race. Depending on the course and race director's preferences, mountain biking can be done on smooth or flat terrain, or you could end up pushing your bike through thick bush on a 20% uphill. If your group is more into biking, the tour can be tweaked to have more bike trails. As a matter of fact, we have one tour just for mountain bikers, but we can talk about it a little bit later. If there is a water surface near the race course, paddling is almost always included. It could be sea kayaking, river kayaking, whitewater rafting, anything water-based. If your group is not into water sports, paddling can be skipped, but on the other hand, it can be made much longer if you prefer any water sports or kayaking, paddling, whatever. I guess you might have noticed already that almost every activity can be modified for bespoke tour. So all these activities combined make an adventure race and an adventure tour. So we can look at a short video to see how it looks in action. So this was 1 minute video done for Adventure Racing World Series that has 10 to 12 races every year all around the world. Adventure races are often hard and long. Teams can experience cold and hot weather, rain, snow, injuries, blisters. They could be hungry or thirsty. They cover great distances in only a few days, no matter the conditions or how tired are they. So adventure tours have the essence of the adventure race and the nature experience, just with more comfort, more sleep, more food, and a bit of our support. Wine and beers in the evening are optional. We transformed Adventure Race Croatia and our slogan, Explore Croatia the Hard Way, to Adventure Tour and Explore Croatia the Active Way. So how does it actually work? We created 3 pre-made tours for those lacking specific ideas that combine area and activities from previous ARC races. If you have any specific idea how deep your group wants to get into adventure touring, we can fine-tune and make custom created tour. So this one, Multisport CETA Summit Tour of Croatia, it is a very diverse tour that incorporates all 3 main activities. So kayak, bike, and hike. Activities are 8 days. So it lasts for 8 days, but first and last days are just transfer days. So 6 days of activities. And activities are 4 to 9 hours long. Area of the tour is Adriatic region and of Dalmatia and its hinterland, including Velebit. Velebit is a mountain, and in its hinterland there are 2 crystal clear rivers that we will use for either kayaking or hiking along that river. I will show you a couple of highlights from this tour. So this is Tulove Grede. It's a karst terrain phenomenon in the Danaric Mountains, specifically in the Velebit Mountain. It is one of the most recognizable landmarks of Velebit Mountain, with a group of vertical limestone blocks, peaks, and towers. The summit is at 1,120 meters, or approximately 3,700 feet. In our race, team had the checkpoint at the summit and had to reach it by scrambling up the mountain to the summit. Next one is Masters Road, and you can see Tulove Grede in the background. Masters Road is constructed in the 19th century, and maximum inclination is 5.5%, which is within limits of even the current regulations of road tractions. It was a main connection between inland and the seaside, so the coast. This is also Master's Road in Tulvegrede. This is River Krupa and specifically Kuda's bridge. The legend is that a guy called Kuda built this bridge to easily get to the other side where his lover was. I don't know if it's true, but it sounds pretty cool. Next one is Zrmanja River kayaking. It is one of the most exciting rivers in Croatia. We used it on our first edition, and it is part of both of our custom tours. It is not technically challenging, but it's really fun and exciting. You can enjoy it between, I would say, May and September. River Krupa is a smaller river that flows into River Zrmanja. We are usually hiking along that river and taking dips in the cold river when we get too hot. On this picture, you can see a small via ferrata that people often intentionally fall off because the water is too tempting in the summer. This is River Zrmanja and specifically waterfall called Visoki Buk. It's a part of the kayaking trip, but you cannot go over it. You have to walk around because it's 11 meters tall, but it's a really good photo point for all the kayak tourists. This tour, it's a little bit different. So this is best of ARC bike tour. It's not a multisport tour. It's created more for mountain bikers. It combines best and most exciting cycling legs of previous ARC editions into a huge and relentless cycling adventure. There is a kayaking trip as an option included in this tour, as we traverse rivers multiple times. All those who are not used to riding more than 50 kilometers per day, full suspension e-bikes are also an option on request. Here are some highlights from that trip. So this is in the background, it's Zrmanja River. This is National Park Krka, near Vrana Lake, Masters Road, and this is a special one. It's a small lake called Pečine near Knin, and it's a perfect stop to have a quick dip to refresh your bodies because in the summertime, it can get pretty hot in those areas. The next pre-made tour is Multisport River Rush. It is basically the same tour as the first one, but only squeezed in only 6 days. We created this tour for 11 American clients, and they liked it so much that we, in the end, made it as a regular tour. It is basically the same locations as Sita Summit, but only shorter. If you've got an ambitious group, we can make a bespoke tour consisting of your specific ideas and our experience. The level of activity can vary. The number of activities can be different. You can have more or less support from us during the day. Accommodation can range from no sleep or tents every day to holiday homes and nice hotels. Our most famous adventure tour client was an outdoor activities influencer, Jone from Unlazy Way. He reached out to us and he wanted to do the entire ARC course from 2018. He and his 3 friends managed to endure the first day and night, but as the experience got tougher, they decided to take it more easily. So we tweaked the tour a bit and logistically and on the fly, so they could sleep and rest for the following 2 nights. They had a time of their life, and in the end, we just proved the concept. We can tweak every tour on the fly when we see how capable the group actually is, because a lot of people have maybe wrong perspective of how fit they are or how ready they are for such an adventure. Now you know a lot about adventure tours. Before Adventure Race Croatia, we have to talk about Croatia. Croatia is a country of 4 million people at the crossroads of Central and Southeastern Europe. Also at crossroads of very diverse cultural influences, from Austrian to Italian to Turkish, which has left its mark on architecture, language, people, and of course the cuisine, which makes it a very interesting country to explore for cultural lovers. So this is a short video that we made for our race, and in this video you can see the actual beauty of the Croatian inland. So all of the shots are done with the drone, so we can just take a small glimpse of what you can experience if you come to Croatia and try our tours. On our races, we already passed 4 national parks, so North Velebit, Risnjak, Krka, and Paklenica, and 4 nature parks, Vrana Lake, Učka, and Velebit. ARC were held in 2018 and 19 and in 2022. The playground or suffer ground, depends on your perspective, was set in the wild, contrasting outback of the Dinaric Alps, on the Adriatic Sea, and on the continental unspoiled forests and rivers. This year's race is on a new terrain, and that terrain is secret to everyone until the teams get the maps a couple of hours before the race. The race will be held in 6 weeks in mid-May. So on this map, you can see that ARC 2002 was a little bit north than previous two editions. How does an actual race look like? You can take a look at the next video from ARC 2019 highlights.
3, 2, 1, go!
C'est au pied de ce gros rocher.
The winners of second edition of Adventure Race Croatia, USB Adventure Team from Sweden.
So let me introduce you to the first three editions in a couple of words. So the original idea to give teams who missed any of the previous editions is still there. So if there are any teams or groups that wish to basically relive any of our previous editions in the race mode, there is an option too. So let's look at all our races so far. The first edition was in 2018, and the race had 20 teams from all over the world. This one was 350 kilometers, and it took first team around 55 hours to finish it. This is approximate route for that edition, 2018. Next edition was 2019. We decided to go more closer to the Adriatic and add some distance to the total of 500 kilometers or 300 miles, because 350 was obviously not enough. Area was close to the race of previous year, but still a completely new route. Each year, a route has to be totally different and new, and that is what gives it a special experience. This is an approximate route of that edition, 2019, and how many activities and transitions are during the ARC. So this is a flow chart that each team receives before race start. So you can see that there are a lot of disciplines that are changing one after each other, and we have to really be logistically ready to endure all the transitions and transport, and it's a race for us as well as for the teams. So last year's edition moved the race a few hundred kilometers to the north. The islands from 2019 were so popular, so we decided to introduce even more of them, which meant more sea kayaking. So we had Island Krk, Island Cres, and Island Lošinj, a couple of national parks, a couple of nature parks, a couple of lakes, Lake Lokve, Fužine Lake. So it was a really, really different race than previous two editions. This is also an approximate map from the race. Here are some highlights from our previous editions. So this is already mentioned Zrmanja and Krupa River, but this is the confluence where they meet. This is Krupa Canyon track that is really popular, and we included that track in both of our pre-made tours, our regular tours. This is Island Veli Maškalić, which teams passed when they were kayaking from Island Park to the mainland and then hiked to Velebit. On that next hike, they went through Rock Gallery on Velebit Mountain, and it looks impenetrable. but actually there is a marked route between those rocks, and teams had to find 2 or 3 checkpoints in those rocks. Next one is a Mammoth Cave. Teams didn't have to jump in it. They just had to find the CP checkpoint. CP means checkpoint, close to that pit. Interesting facts about those pits is that Felix Baumgartner from Red Bull athlete, base jumped in that pit. And also Ivan Trifonov entered that cave with a hot air balloon. Next one is Zrmanja River, but lower section. It's not so exciting as the upper section, but it's totally different with high cliffs and slower river, but you're experiencing a totally different face of the same river in only a few kilometers. This is Bijela Canyon, also really interesting and really undiscovered gem in Croatia. So almost during the whole year, there is no water in the canyon, but there is a wide trail on the riverbed, and you can hike up the canyon and end up in the cave, which is actually the source of this river. This is Knin Fortress. It's the second largest fortress in Croatia and the most significant defensive stronghold. Teams visited this in 2019 edition, and we had a couple of checkpoints in the fortress, so it was a really, really cool experience for them. After that, they went to Čikola River. There is a Via Ferrata there. It's not really technical, but it's beautiful and a really nice experience with or without water, because in summer, water is usually gone, but then you can see the bed of the river, and you can see all the shapes that the river creates when it's there. In that year, we also had a hike on Postak Mountain. This is a pretty famous smiling alien sculpture. So this is the smiling alien on Postak Mountain with no human influence. This is a moon plateau on Kirk Island. So this was on our last year's edition. Team started from the Baška. You can see Baška in the rear, and then hike to the moon plateau, so-called moon plateau. You can see the rock formations that are man-made, not alien-made, and they are natural barriers for sheep herders. You can also see Baška in the rear on this picture. They have to climb up via scenic route. This is a track that they continued after the bikes and climb up to those mountains. This is spectacular trekking where teams had views on the mainland. In the back, you can see Velebit, and in front of it, it's a island called Prvić. This is a summit to Sis summit. It's on island Cres. There is a cool story about this team. They are a team from South Africa. So usually on our races, we have about 70 to 80 checkpoints. And I think that this team collected barely 15 checkpoints. So racing was not their main priority. Their main priority was to have fun and enjoy the scenery. I think they visited every restaurant and every cafe along the way, and they don't regret it at all. They had a holiday of their life. They could be the perfect customers for this sort of custom adventure tours, because they are not competitive. They want to enjoy it, but nobody could offer them until now something similar to adventure race, but with no competitive edge. This is also them having fun on the track. So you can see that they're taking pictures and selfies, and enjoying was their main priority. This is Lubenica village. It's a medieval town on Cres Island, overlooking the spectacular beach of the same name. On every edition, we try to include a lot of caves, pits, and this is Morska Peć on island Cres. Teams had to hike down and find a checkpoint inside that cave. This is a Čampar cave on the same island. This is the entrance to the cave. This is a spectacular view from the Risnjak National Park on the mainland. So this is the video from drones, and I hope that with this couple of pictures and me trying to explain what adventure racing is and difference between adventure tour, you got the gist of it, and you can understand what we are offering. I am passionate about this sport, and I hope that people who listen to this will look into the 57 Hours website and our listing. And if they are interested in it, they can contact 57 Hours or myself. I'm happy to help.